You want to know something? My name, Mike Osiris, has been damn near meaningless for quite a while now. My avatar has been generic and dull, and it's high time I change that. Now, what to do about my look? I do have Osiris in my name. Osiris is the Egyptian god of death, Egypt, mummies. I can work with this. Alright guys, are you ready to see my new look? Here goes nothing. Oh, hell yeah. That's more like it. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. Personally, I think I did alright for having absolutely no drawing experience. And now that I have a new look, we can get down to business. What did I decide to make a video on this time? Oh, yeah. So did you ever get done watching a piece of media and go, wow, that was a gigantic waste of my fucking time. I'm never getting that 22 minutes back. There's quite a few anime out there that make me think that. I've seen some good ones in the past, and I've seen some dog shit ones as well. And today, we'll be exploring that second category. If it's an anime that has no business existing at all, or is shitty even for the standards set in its time, I will be covering it. Now before we get into it, let's discuss what makes a bad anime for me. First of all, I cannot stand gratuitous amounts of filler. I've seen some anime in the past where half or more of the episodes are all filler episodes, which begs the following question. Why in the cinnamon toast fuck are you bothering to try and tell a story if you're just gonna abandon it halfway through and stop trying? If you don't have enough material to cover at least 12 episodes, maybe don't make an anime, you fuckwit! Another thing that really boils my piss is when an anime has to provide fan service every 5 seconds. I get it. I was a bit of a coomer at one point. Hell, you could probably argue that I'm still one. But if you're flashing cleavage so often, to the point that it feels excessive or derails the story, you gotta cut that shit out. Like, if you do it once in a while, that's fine. But most of them don't just do it once in a while. Most do it so that every step a girl takes involves her skirt blowing up and revealing her panties. Knock that shit off. It's the equivalent of every episode of Family Guy doing a painfully unfunny cutaway gag. It halts the entire story for something not worth it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
It's been a long time.
Alright, now that we're done with that, let's get down to brass tacks. Which anime in particular do I think are shit? Well, let's take a look. So the first shitty anime I want to bring up is this lesser known anime that you may not have heard of called Sword Art Online. I remember watching the first couple of episodes when it first came out and thinking to myself, wow, this is pretty good, I like this concept. But what I didn't know is that like a van with free candy painted on the side of it, it was a fucking trap. At first, it made itself seem like it was going to be this action-oriented adventure fit for teens. Then the rape scene hits you like a truck that just ran a stop sign. Out of nowhere, and no fucks given. At this point, the sudden change in tone was extremely fucking jarring, to the point I had to step back and wonder to myself if this was really as good as I initially thought. As it turns out, not really. Sword Art Online is kinda like letting a monkey pilot a ship. That ship may have a strong structure, but with shitty direction, that ship is as good as sunken. The story is pretty fucking stupid looking back at it. A bunch of teens are trapped in a virtual reality game. If they die in the game, they die in real life, and if they try to take the headset off, it'll fry their brains. Immediately, I find that to be pretty dumb. What if it was just yanked off instantly before severe damage can be done? Or is it like Emperor fucking Palpatine shooting lightning bolts into the person's brain from 5 feet away? Also, if I remember correctly, the show takes place in 2021 or 2022. Are you fucking kidding? I'd love a more immersive VR experience to the point where my consciousness is transferred into a video game, but holy shit, they underestimated how far into the future that is. Now, I have many more problems with this back alley abortion of an anime, but we'll be here for hours if I kept talking about it, so let's just move on. Next up, we've got a controversial choice, for some reason. Prison School. I hate this fucking anime, and I seem to be in the minority with that opinion. Why? It is the dumbest premise for an anime that I have seen in a very long time. It's basically about the only 5 boys in a school getting locked up in a prison inside of the school for peeping on some of the girls. And while they're there, they are forced to do hard labor and regularly get their shit kicked in by the guards, who are also students with a giant fucking power trip and an intense hatred for anyone who doesn't have a vagina. One of them's able to control crows. Why? Fuck you, that's why! And if it wasn't for the constant tits and asses being shoved in your face every 5 seconds, I'd have assumed that this was Anita Sarkeesian's dream for the future.
I thought you believed in gun control.
Yes, I believe I should control the gun. It's the men who need to be checked.
But no, it's one of those anime with constant unnecessary fan service to the point where it's a detriment to the quality of the show overall. Like, seriously, I thought we grew out of this shit after the mid-2000s were over, but I guess a new batch of horny, immature teens always come along, so shit like this exists to cater to either them or perma-virgins who haven't felt the touch of a woman since they were breastfed at 11 months old. While we're still on the topic of unnecessary fan service, let's talk about High School of the Dead. Now, it's safe to say that I'm a big fan of zombie-related shit. If it can tear a chunk out of your throat and turn you into one of them, chances are that I'll like it. So when I first saw this anime, I was pretty hyped. Then came the fan service. Constant panty shots and tits flopping around like they've collided with another object on Gary's mod every time the girls so much as exhale. And for some reason, they all want to fuck the main character. They always want to fuck the main character. I'll admit that this one had some really good and intense moments, like when the main guy had to walk on a wall with zombies grabbing at his ankles so he could save a little girl and her dog. And halfway through it, the dog starts licking his fucking neck, tickling him and making him lose his balance. That was a genuinely good and intense scene, and the anime would have been great if it was more like that scene. But no! Tits and panty shots galore. If I could say one more good thing about this anime, I'd have to commend the creator for his hard work. It must be tough getting this done when you only have one free hand, if you catch my drift. Joshiraku. Why was this made exactly? It's a slice-of-life anime about 5 comedians getting into funny situations and doing satire of our modern day. That's what the summary said about it, and I got absolutely none of that from watching it. This premise would be 100% fine if the show was actually funny. I don't know if it's a cultural barrier or what, but holy shit, some of these jokes are pretty fucking awful.
お月様を称えてみるとか。
どんどこどこどこどんどこどこどこどんどこどこどこどんどこどこどこどんどこどこどこ
満月は偉大なり。どんどこどこもういい。月見は黙って月見りゃいいんだよ。
Here's my version of a summary of this anime. 5 girls who think that they're funny act like retards for an entire episode. Rinse and repeat 12 more times, and you got yourself an anime. Like, I know that Japan is into that wacky humor and all, but I'm usually able to see the humor in those situations. I got nothing out of this show, and it only served as a waste of my time. Finally, let's talk about Heaven's lost motivation to tell a coherent fucking story. It's about a horny teenager who finds some robot angel thing that fell out of the sky, and it protects him from these other robot angels trying to kill them. Then it abandons the story halfway through the fucking anime, and it just turns into nothing but filler episodes. And the characters are all incredibly fucking annoying too. The main character is a straight up sex offender, the girl who's always around him constantly gives him the Chris Brown treatment for doing so much as breathing, and the rest of the characters are flat, one-dimensional bore fests. Dynamic characters do not exist in this anime, and that would be fine and fucking dandy if everyone in it wasn't absolutely insufferable. I'd sooner watch a video of a horse being disemboweled through its anus than another episode of this schlock. Like, seriously, I'm convinced that this was only made as a tax write-off and nothing more. And those were just a few of the shitty anime that I've seen. I'm sure I've forgotten some other ones, but that's most likely because my brain shut off a quarter of a way through them. If you want to watch anime, avoid the ones I just mentioned. Shoving your head in a porta potty and huffing Jenkem would be a better use of your time than sitting through these anime, and I long for the future where these shows are lost to time and are never seen again. I'm Mike Osiris, and I'm going back under.
Subscribe to my Osiris, or else I will use the world to freeze time and steal your bitch. See you in the next video, you pathetic waste of space.